Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Pineapple Podcast, where it's all about being tough on the outside and sweet on the inside. Today, we have two amazing guests. We have Holly and Clayton from Etched Real Estate Solutions. These guys came into the space really and truly not knowing clearly what they want to do. And today they are killing it. They've developed a brand and a company that not only give them the financial freedom they seeked, but they also got the opportunity to work with people like you and I and to continue to grow and develop and help other people achieve their financial dreams. Welcome, guys, to the Pineapple Podcast.
Thank you so much. We're excited
Hello.
to be here.
Yes, we are. We are.
Good, good, good. Well, I am excited to have you here as well. And the first thing I want to know is why etched real estate? Like, how did you come up with that concept for that name?
Oh my goodness. Well, we started out in the vacation rental business, and we have a huge passion for real estate. And so when Clay and I decided to also become realtors and set up our own team, we wanted to have something that helped people to understand what we're all about. And what we're really all about is coming up with solid, customized solutions that are lasting. And that we help people create wealth through building through real estate.
Yeah, because we've had so much success in real estate through various investment properties that we'll talk about. We've done every type of investment from flips to long-term hold rentals, and we really do well with our short-term rentals and vacation rentals. And we've kind of become financially free in that aspect, and we really want to give back and using the knowledge that we've learned, help other people achieve financial freedom. And that's kind of how we created Etched Real Estate Solutions, and we customize, tailor solutions to the specific investor or person wherever you are in your journey, and we help you out in that regard.
Love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, the giving back is really the brilliance, in my opinion, in terms of the community, right? Because again, everybody's on that same journey, and to realize financial freedom, we have to do it collectively because nobody's doing it for you, right? But I'm sure people are really excited to understand, okay, so you're at a stage now where you're building the business, you're bringing in people, helping them to grow and develop. But how did you start off? Because a lot of them, a lot of our viewers as well, they're kind of trying to figure it out. How do we start off? Who's the success story? How did you become a success story? So share with us that transition when you made up your mind, you know what? I want to do this thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm just going to know I'm going to do.
Well, I started investing in real estate when I was a baby about 30 years ago.
Nice.
And we got involved in various different kinds of investments, but we kind of tripped into the success. We decided to buy a family chalet and in the Collingwood Blue Mountain area. And we realized Clay in those days was playing rep sports, and my husband was doing a lot of coaching, and we weren't getting there that often during ski season. So we said, let's start to rent this out seasonally. And then we realized, but we miss going there. So we ended up getting into short-term rentals way before there was anything like booking sites or anything like that. We're talking 2002. And so then it became so popular that we still couldn't go again. And then we realized, I think there's a thing here. So then we bought another, and the rest is kind of history. We really realized that short-term vacation rentals was a really great spot to be in, that the town of Blue Mountains, with its being close to the village and the Four Seasons aspect of all of it, was really a good place to do things. And so when we joined Keyspire, the original focus was on how to even grow and make that business better. We were already highly successful, and now we're at the stage where we're actually giving back and helping to teach other people, learn all of the tips and tricks and success that we've had through a lifetime of investing in real estate.
Yeah, my journey kind of started when I was in university. I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I went to Ryerson. I studied
Nice.
business. I majored in entrepreneurship. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, but I had great knowledge from my parents. They, like my mom said, they had the short-term rental business as I was growing up, and they
Yeah,
allowed me to,
yeah.
yeah, they allowed me to be involved throughout the whole press process. So helping them with Airbnb, marketing, and just hearing their conversations and learning from them kind of started to get me thinking, well, hey, I like real estate. And I did a lot of learning and education. And I learned that one of my gurus told me every multimillionaire on average has about 7 revenue streams on the whole. And I learned that real estate and stocks are kind of the wealth generating um, avenues that people take to
Right. Yeah, yeah.
so once I graduated, I became a real estate agent. I got licensed and I started to build my revenue streams, and that being using real estate investing. Like I said, I do have a stock and options trading side as well, but just focusing on the real estate, we've been able to have so many synergies. We both are real estate agents, a mother-son team, and just growing our investment portfolio and finding our niche. And now, like I said, we're at the point now where we just want to give back and share our knowledge and help people. So
Yeah.
it's been a fun journey.
You
At
know
some
what?
point, I was
That
lost,
look,
Yeah.
that
but
is inspiring. I love the fact that you shared that because even, and I'll share quickly with you as well. Like my boy, he just started university, but he
Mhm.
loves entrepreneurship. He's going to York. That's what he's doing, business and entrepreneurship. But he also trained himself to become a barber. And like he's invested in his chair, invested in tools. He's and like
yeah.
it's just in him. Like he's
Mhm.
basically he comes to me and he says, like, I need you to pick this up for me. I need you to do that because
Yeah.
he's got it and he's got clients coming and the quality of work is just unbelievable, right? But there's something about entrepreneurs that when you get it at that age that you guys are at and you have the support system, like you're telling me it's a mother and son team. How powerful is that, right?
Yeah.
Because look, no matter what job you do, no matter how whether you're big in the corporate world or you're in the independent world, it's all about family and family time, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so the fact that both of you are sitting here with me, I mean, that just opens up my heart. It makes me feel great because this is what we're all about. And I'm the same thing. I've moved over as well. As you know, I coach and I help a lot of people get to their dreams. But I also come into this space as an investor. And I've transitioned out of director's role, 6-figure income into this space simply because it gives you that family time. And to
Yeah,
me, that's the most precious thing we have, right?
And
it's
that's
true.
awesome to hear about your
Yeah.
son being
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
find
We
your
got to connect you
passion.
guys.
Yeah, being able to find your passion as an entrepreneur, I feel like that's kind of a key because the work doesn't feel like work to you. It just feels like something fun that you're doing. And usually
Yes.
those are the people who make good money because it doesn't feel like work. They're passionate about it, and then everything falls into place. And so I was lucky to find that real estate was one of my passions, and we both
Yeah.
share that passion together. And like you said, it's allowed us to have a great mother-son team and connection. So
And it's allowed me to come out of the corporate world, same thing. And,
Ah,
instead of doing something off the side of your desk, you suddenly full time can commit to doing what you're most passionate about. So, that 10,000 hours that they talk about, I think I've got, 2 or 3 times that.
yeah.
I'm really super excited now to be able to share that. And it's a full family business. My daughter's involved as well.
Oh, beautiful.
With the vacation rental side, Clay and I are focusing more on the real estate side, but still, providing services across the board. And my husband is going to be looking at the summit that's coming up to find his way to get his ticket out of the job world too.
Well, that's it. And funny enough, there is a plan to do that. Like, don't go quitting your day job, folks. Remember, you got to plan that out. You still need to make sure you're supporting yourself with the income until you transition over. Okay. But again, guys, love what you're sharing with us today. So give us a sense now. How did you determine strategy? I know you said that you basically you found the STR, but I think you've broadened your strategy a lot now, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Do you want
So
to
give
talk
us
to
a sense of the strategies that you're doing today.
yeah, so I know it's kind of a popular topic now, but we've been investing in short-term rentals since 2003, even before there were Airbnb was around, any of these rental platforms. And we found that it's kind of, in terms of appreciation and cash flow, a really good real estate investment tool. And we really are kind of promoting and helping a lot of people now with short-term rentals, finding good short-term rentals, whether they be vacation rentals. And we speak on Blue Mountain because that's one of the few places in Canada, it could be the only place in Canada where you're getting somewhere where you can rent year round.
Yes.
People used to see Blue Mountain as their peak season being the winter, but now sometimes the summer is even more busy than the winter.
Yeah.
It's the best season. You know, I think part of the whole strategy too, when you're trying to make a decision about short-term rental, part of it's that whole seasonality. Of course, there's that whole cash flow, but the other thing is where do you want to be? Because I mean, a big benefit of all of this are free vacations, right? So we
Yes.
you know, have somebody else, other people's money help us to
Right.
be able to go and spend time in some of these great locations because we've invested in it. And I think another reason why we went with with an organization like EXP that's cloud-based and international is it allows us to be able to learn more about it. STRs all around the world. And so we have partnerships going on in Italy and Michigan and Florida. And, you know, we're helping clients from BC to PEI. But, you know, we like our foundation, which is Blue Mountain, because it has allowed us to really understand what one of the best cash flowing opportunities are in this country, and then sort of extend that knowledge base to help people understand different ones. We've also been in it since the very beginning, so we understand the regulatory environment, and we have understood all of the principles and the fundamentals that help you to be very successful with short-term rentals, and to translate that across to just about any kind of marketplace you want to be in. So we're hoping that we might be able to talk to you about some of the tips and some of the thoughts that we have about short-term rentals. You know, Clay, do you want to talk about some of your favorite top 4?
Yeah, so with regards to short-term rentals, some people are worried about staying rented in the off season. So like I said, the peak seasons are summer and winter, and you're going to get people coming. But when it comes to spring and fall, how do you make sure that your calendar is fully booked? And so one of the things that we found is having amenities like hot tubs, saunas will help keep you booked in comparison to other rental properties that don't have that, right? I know in our places, we've put those amenities in. We've even added basketball courts to stand out.
Nice.
Theming is really important as well.
Yeah.
We help some people invest in Florida.
Yeah.
Near Disney, Kissimmee area, and they kind of put Disney theming in their property. We theme our chalets in Blue Mountain, Southwestern, and theming kind of helps build your brand. And if you're acquiring multiple properties, it builds a consistent brand as well. And so people start to recognize that, and it makes you stand out a little more. As well as another tip that I like to say is getting professional photography done versus not professional photography. When you're looking at properties on Airbnb, sometimes you can see that some people are using their cell phone just to take photos or videos of their property. And you're not going to get the traction that you want. People might just quickly look at your property, and even though it's a beautiful property, because there's not enough lighting, it's poor angles, they'll quickly just move on to the next property because it's not catching their attention. So paying the extra few dollars, getting professional photography done, using drone footage. Now in today's world, we have VR. So there's a product called Matterport where people are able to walk through your home using virtually, like they're actually there physically and seeing your property. So taking the time, finding your money shot. And when I say money shot, that's going to be the main photo, first photo that catches the person's attention when they're going and looking at properties on Airbnb or any of these other platforms. So those are two kind of tips that I recommend. Do you want to get into some of your tips?
Yeah, I think what I want to talk about is sort of what's happening now in the STR world. You know, it used
Yeah,
to be
I also, just before we jump into sort of doing that as well, I love what you're sharing there because it is really insightful to understand STR. You really do have to have a technique, but you're going into something that I was going to bring up, Holly, which is really about the regulation side of it. So I love the fact that you're going to be jumping into that. So give
okay.
us a breakdown of how you navigate around it.
Okay. You know, and I think it's on two levels. It's understanding your local regulations. And so, for example, in the Blue Mountains, when we first started, there were no regulations. Anybody could have an STR. And if
Right.
hindsight's 2020, I wish I'd bought 20 of them in those days, because once you
Yeah.
have one, normally, you know, particularly in Ontario, there's regulations that allow you to be grandfathered.
Yes.
The good news is that your grandfather. The bad news is if you ever sell and someone else doesn't continue that use, all of a sudden that
It's out.
opportunity disappears.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of part of the excitement in the Blue Mountains, is that you know, we're regulated, but it's the devil, you know. But part of the challenge is that because of that regulation, the inventory of short-term rentals is small. So as an investor who actually owns one, it's awesome because you have that ability to, you know, not only do you have all of that traditional cash flow and all those good dynamics, but you also have a scarce commodity. And anybody who understands economics
Right.
understands that there's scarcity, supply, and demand allows you to really have great appreciation of that and leaping
Absolutely.
off the chart. So that's some of the good news. The challenge is that you need to be able to explain to guests
Yeah.
why you need to do what you do, and you need to have a whole system in place that allows you to make sure that you stay within the regulations, but B, maximize that guest experience. Talking about regulations on a more international scale, you really need to understand what it is that you need to have in place in order to be successful in investing in a market that's outside of your local expertise. And so we also make sure that we co-partner, whether it's here in Canada or internationally, with the right set of partners that make sure that you understand your tax regulations, that you understand all of the dynamics, that you set up the right structure in order to ensure that your STR is going to be successful. And so that's we wanted to talk about also, Mitch, some of the systems that are required.
Yeah, like that. This is absolutely great information for sure, because a lot of people, they love the idea of STR, but they don't really jump into it. They got to learn a lot of it. So the fact that you're sharing this amount of information, I think is amazing, because people are going to get great value in it. So, so explain to us a little bit as well, on the international side, like you say, you're doing in Florida or whatever. So how do people typically get involved with you? And then, what are some of the tricks that you found in Florida as well? I love the theming. I've seen many of the Airbnbs as well, where the house is almost like you're in Disney, so you don't necessarily need to visit the park sometimes, right?
Yeah, fair enough. You know, well, or at least you're so excited about visiting the park because you've already gotten yourself
Yeah,
excited in
absolutely.
the SPR that you're staying at. In terms of that, we co-partner with our team members all around the world, and they're all experts in their local. We also have a preferred relationship with a third-party management group that can help us in so many ways. They know their markets, they have a deep footprint within that particular market, and they can actually help with revenue projections because they have such a large footprint. They can take a look at something that we might be presenting to someone and say, here's what we think based on similar footprints, wherever, the kind of revenues that you can generate. We also have established relationships with professionals who are able to help people understand how to avoid double taxation, what's the right kind of tax and legal structure. And
Right.
so we want to make sure that they're supported both in terms of getting that right piece of real estate, but also making sure that they don't get themselves into trouble because they're in unknown waters. So
Yes.
that's important. And also understanding the licensing impact. And that's as important. You know, our point of view, we talk about licensing quite a bit as one of the things that we want to help people with. And it's pretty well, from my perspective, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so how do you prepare yourself to be able to be on the right side of that licensing, and to be careful when you're making an investment somewhere that isn't regulated, that you know that your realtor can take a look at what's coming in that area. Because normally licensing doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
There are rumblings about that, and then people are in shock and saying, "Oh my goodness, you know, and sometimes the licensing does take you by surprise." And we actually have had the experience of lobbying and improving the licensing environment because we've been in the Blue Mountains, which was one of the first regulated neighborhoods in the
Yes.
country. We've gone through that whole from not having licensing to totally having too much licensing to kind of getting to the stage where you have that happy medium that allows you, and having a strong owners group is really critical, or a group that can help guide you through the process of doing that, because it can be quite daunting if you're just trying to do it as an individual.
Absolutely, 100%. And I love the fact that you've sort of started, as you rightly said, in the early days. So your learning is well advanced compared to today. It's really sexy to be STR, right? And everybody's
Yes.
jumping in. A lot of people are learning some expensive lessons, right?
Yes.
Some people don't realize that the city actually comes and knocks on your door, or rather they put a note on your door telling you that this is, the neighbors are complaining or somebody's doing this, and they give you a cease and desist. Now you can go to the lawyers, you can try and figure out how you could possibly fight that, but that derails the whole business model, right? And it affects you, because now you're into a different battle, and your property there is like, what do I do? Do I sell it? Do I long-term lease it? Means STR is gone, means the benefit of STRing is gone, because one of the opportunities is there's significant cash flow compared to long-term leasing. So you're sharing with us great insights, and I love the fact that you do say, let's come together as an association, because there's power in people.
Yes,
right? There's power in
absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
So give us a walkthrough as well. Like if I'm a new person coming in to work with you guys, like walk me through what that would look like in terms of the STR or the opportunities that you guys bring.
Yeah, I think we would look at your investing objectives and try to figure out, is it appreciation more so you're looking for, cash flow more so that you're looking for, a good mix. And we'd kind of find a property and tailor it to you. Like we said, we really do recommend Blue Mountain in Canada because of the 4 seasons.
Yes.
And once we find a property for you, what we'll do is, like I said, find a tailored plan, right? So I don't know if you want to take over on that aspect.
Yeah, I do actually, because there's kind of a range too. So, and it depends on somebody's experience. So somebody who's not experienced probably wants to come in and do something turnkey, where they're buying an STR that's already been set up. It's got all the furnishings, it's got the amenities, it's already got a cash flow going. It's something that they can easily step into. It's in an area that they like, so they know they want to have a free vacation there from time to time. And they may want to initially let a property management group help them to manage it, so that it can be really almost like a passive investment for them. And they just sort of wait for the cash flow check. There are some people who want to be more involved, and they want to be involved in the management of things. They might want to, we have an opportunity, a couple of them that we're familiar with right now, one actually in the Blue Mountains and one in Waseca, where you can actually turn something into a licensed STR. And in the Blue Mountains, that's rare because there's a zone and there's limitations. And so when one comes up, it's really a great opportunity. But it's going to take somebody who has a little bit of a different skill set. They're going to want to be able to get it hooked up to the sewers and whatnot, because that's part of the regulations. They're probably going to want to expand it, because once it becomes an STR, changing its capacity may be difficult within the regulations. So if it's a 4-bedroom, if there's a way to turn it into a 5-bedroom, do it now before it's licensed. So
Right.
you have that opportunity. But that will require somebody with more sophistication and skills. And so that's why we'll sit down with people, figure out what their objectives are, how much involvement they want to have, and then end up finding the right kind of investment for them.
And then I guess because of our experience, we're able to teach them how to get rentals and make sure that their property will be rented and have low vacancy rates, right? And so we also provide those connections to suppliers, so cleaners, property management, having emergency contact. We have all of those kind of lined up already for people who want to come and purchase properties with us. And we kind of help them through that whole process, making sure that their STR is going to be rented from day one once they're ready to get that going.
Yeah, no, for sure, because I know Blue Mountain as well. I have a couple of people who have invested into that market, and some of them they felt the pressure because, to your point, they weren't sure how to get around some of the regulations, because they didn't realize some area it's okay, some area they don't want it.
Yes.
You got to navigate, because again, it's a tourist destination. It's always been that way, but it's also a community, and there's different people reacting in different ways. I think the SDR companies that are doing this as well, because as you rightly say, they created several platforms for them. They're doing their best job possible to try and weed out the sort of the people who are coming in to just, you know, abuse and take advantage. So the rating system, I think, is good. But I think what the value you bring to being sort of the expert in the area is tremendous, because now you can hold my hands, you can help me navigate, you can find the deals, set me up. And I love the fact that you know, what I really like is you talk to me and you find out, okay, what do you want to do? You want to work, or do you want to just make it happen on passively so that you can enjoy your time? And you provide double solution. So I think that's pretty unique. I think that's a step up above for sure, compared to just, you know, hustling behind an opportunity or finding a property. Because now I'm getting people who are invested in me, who wants to make sure that I am successful in doing this, while at the same time we're going to create economies. We're going to add to the job pool. We're going to develop the area. We're going to make sure that we're contributing as a society. I mean, that's huge. You know, that is huge. So the fact that you guys are focused on this area, I absolutely love it. And again, now, so you're specialized in Blue Mountain. You love the Florida market. What other markets, if I wanted to kind of work with you, that you guys are sort of the specialist for, that you like working in?
Well, you know, we're able to, because of our cloud-based realty, co-partner with the experts in every pretty well country available. Right now, we're helping someone who has a listing in Italy that they want to sell, and we're also helping people find STR opportunities in Italy. You know, we've looked at Jamaica. We've looked at so many different countries with people, and it's a matter of us co-partnering with our team experts we're in over 40 countries.
Okay.
And so we can pretty well help anybody anywhere. You know, and then we expand that. I mean, right now we have a listing in Michigan. You know, so it's an investor actually from the Key Spire community who did a flip, and now we're helping them. You know, it was a difficult property, so we found ways of making it something where they can now reach out and have others connect and be able to take advantage of it. So it's interesting. The top areas for STRs are well known. The big cities like, you know, Miami, and I mean, Hawaii is big, and, you know, there are so many, but there's so many interesting places that have wonderful STR opportunities that a lot of us don't know about. And yet, you know, that's the one thing about Blue Mountains, for example. Maybe somebody from I'm trying to think of where wouldn't know about it. Maybe somewhere in Virginia doesn't know about it, but our local community loves it. And it's the same thing. Maybe somebody from Toronto knows nothing about this great spot in Virginia, but we're able to find those. There's a really cool place in Canada that Point Roberts that people don't even know about, and it's actually across from Vancouver. It's actually in the States because of the way the border goes. But it
Okay.
has this phenomenal, so there's all these gems that we know about that we're able to talk to people about and find what's the right fit for it, because you go to where the cash flow goes too. So not everyone can invest in some of these top communities because
Right.
of the price point, even though the numbers make sense.
Yep.
It's the hurdle of taking on something and the responsibility of something large. But we can help people go to where the cash flow and find that STR opportunity that fits their budget and their risk tolerance level.
Oh, absolutely love that. I love that. Please go
Yeah, I
ahead.
was gonna say,
Yeah.
like we said, we tailor creative solutions, and it's not just short-term rentals that we help people with. We have so many different solutions for everyone across the book.
Right.
Some things that we're doing right now are rent to own. So we just helped someone last week secure a rent to own property. And we tailor the solution for them. Sometimes people don't have enough down payment, they don't have the best credit, or they just need a few years to build up that down payment and purchase that property. So depending on the person, we can put you into a rent to own program. We have certain properties available for rent to own,
which is then a double win-win, because in this tough market, things that would just fly off the shelf suddenly are sitting.
Yep.
So rent to own expands the universe, and it allows people who have challenge getting the approvals to be able to get into something. And it also helps a property that's sitting suddenly have somebody who will pay a future price, which is the price that they were hoping to get in the old world. So we're always looking for innovative strategies. And so we have some clients who are thrilled because they thought they were going to have to lose their shirts on some stuff. And instead, we're helping both the seller and the buyer come up with a win-win.
The social contribution also is significant. Like you're helping somebody get into housing and become an owner. Now they might have title in a few years, but the day they sign that lease, they become a homeowner and you're helping them. So from a social perspective, that, the rent to own to me is huge because you're really transforming lives. You're really giving people opportunities. And at the same time, let's face it, the economics needs to work, the numbers needs to work, but the social value, it's immeasurable, right? So good on you for doing that. I mean, I love the fact that you're so diversified. I think that brings flavor and variety to your everyday, so that you're not only doing one thing all the time, but it's like a different change, a different thought, a different idea has to come together, and you're working together as a family is absolutely brilliant. So I love those strategies for sure. So tell us what's in the future for you guys.
I think we want to expand this knowledge base to help people with the systems that are required, and specifically to focus back in on that short-term vacation rental business. We've found a real change since COVID in terms of what's happening in that market. And the good news is that the awareness is much higher, and there are lots more people who want to come and participate in this category. The bad news is that there's a lot of inventory on the market, and the competitive set has changed. And also the good news is there are dynamics out there with technology that helps to fuel change, and we all have to embrace that. And so we found, for example, it used to be that you would have static rate cards that you would, when you're setting up your booking, you look at what your competition is doing, and then you might do a little tweaking, but that sort of, you'd set that up for a season and leave it in place, and that's what you would do. Now you need dynamic pricing. Sometimes you might need to change based on the demand at any particular point in the day. You might need to change your pricing during the day several different times. So we find that there are so many different channels now available, and trying to manage all those different channels. we find that there's a need to do more lead generation. It used to be that you could just put yourself up on a booking site and that's what you want to do, but you need
Yeah.
to be able to start to control more of that business. So we're actually going to start consulting with people about how to set up their STR, and we actually can help them with the marketing of that STR, and we can also help them learn how to run the back end of an STR. So I think, not only are we going to help people find them, but we found that in order for people to be really successful, and given all of the expertise that we have and the fact that we are, learning and evolving and changing on an ongoing basis, that being able to help provide some of these skill sets, and being involved in so many farms. We just saw a posting the other day where people are talking about a new system that allows you to kind of tap into your own Wi-Fi and start to collect names and leads of all of the people who are staying. And our chalets are big. We have 14. So that they're up to 14 that can stay. Suddenly we have 14 leads instead of the one. So there are all kinds of new things happening almost on a weekly basis these days. And we want to help bring that expertise to people.
Nice. One thing, Holly, that a lot of people are talking about, and it's because of uncertainty. As you know, the economy is shifting because of the inflation rate and the interest rates and so on. And a lot of people feel like STR would be impacted simply because people would not be looking to spend. The first thing they'll cut is their luxury or their vacation. What's your experience so far, and what's your insights in terms of what's happening in that particular market?
Well, I think we've seen some really tremendous things happen during COVID where you thought, oh my goodness, I remember panic. I remember calling my coach. Now what do I do? We've got this portfolio and we can't, and we figured it out. And we found out that in fact, we ended up divesting of some of the portfolio because it came back with such a vengeance once people were able to do that we couldn't scale fast enough to keep up with it. We're ready now, but it's amazing what the transformation was that COVID had in terms of an impact on short term. And so what we're finding now is that people are opening up and going more places. And so you just always have to be able to pivot. So then you make sure that you get on those booking sites that have people who are coming for, if your people are leaving to go somewhere, then you want to make sure that you're on those booking sites where people are coming from somewhere else to take up that capacity. In the end, I think what it's done is it's grown the entire STR marketplace because people are more aware of it. They understand how it works. They understand the beauty of it. A lot of people have now had experiences. And so on the whole, I think it's never been stronger. And particularly all of those primary places, there's just never going to be enough accommodation available in those markets without people like us who help to establish opportunities in that shared economy. I mean, that's the other thing with technology, the whole ability to share has become such a much more a significant thing. When I think about the days when we first went out and started doing short-term rentals and being really nervous about, will we even be able to, fill this capacity? Now having all of these tools and systems, and as long as you understand them and you understand the integration of all the different channels, that you can actually really do phenomenally well. And you just need to make sure that you're always keeping ahead of what the new trends are. It's those people who are losing out that don't really, they're staying in the same old because that's how it used to work. But if you're not on top of where things are going, you're very quickly going to find yourself in a little bit of trouble because it's a much more competitive marketplace.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Absolutely love that. And one thing too, I want to share with our viewers is, remember, guys, this is now a business. And as you can see, as the economy shifts and change, business will shift and change. And that's why I asked that question. It's simply because you're in business. It doesn't mean you got to panic and sell everything off. You just need to flip our things around and target a different market, price accordingly, and make sure that there's a business, there's a need. And funny enough, you know what? In a recessionary sort of period or tough period, you always need a break, okay? So I'm sure people are going to say, I need a getaway for a weekend, for a couple of days. I just need to recharge my batteries. So there's so much opportunities out there for us all in this environment, So people just need to understand, get in touch with the right people, bring people into your sort of your network, because again, this is how you're going to grow. Again, if you guys want to connect with our folks here, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, our website, I think you'll be able to provide our website with them.
Yep, I
you
will
can-
put all that website information in the comments below so folks can have it. And then there's a contact page as well on that website, correct?
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So book an appointment and our phone numbers are there. And yeah, we really look forward to being able to connect with people. It's such a wonderful community, and we hope that we can help more people do what we've learned to do.
Beautiful. So again, guys, I really want to say thank you very much. You've shared so much insights. I think there's so much value and so much nuggets of information now that people can actually feel better about STR and the fact that you can go global. I love that. Right. So, any last tips or any last words as we say our goodbyes?
No, I just think we're really looking forward to working with everyone, helping out with our expertise, and yeah, contact us to
Wonderful.
set up an appointment.
Well,
I'm just going to say that, from the benefit of being a part of Keyspire and the benefit of being a part of Etched Realty, I'm spending all of my time figuring out where I'm going to go next. It's awesome, the
Yeah.
financial freedom of being able to invest where you can get some success. Because of the discipline that we've focused on in the short term, that we can go and have vacations in places that feel like home, no matter where we go. We're hoping we can help you do that too.
Well, I love that. Well, look, Holly and Clayton, thank you so much for joining us today on the Pineapple Podcast. Remember, folks, hit the like, the subscribe, and the notify button so that we can continue to grow and add value to our communities. And once again, remember, it's all about being tough on the outside and sweet on the inside. Take care. Bye, folks.
Thank you so much, Mitch.